Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Fly Like an Eagle podcast. And of course, my house phone starts ringing as soon as we start. Oh my god, but I'll let that go. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Fly Like an Eagle podcast. I'm here with my co host James Scorza and Joe Marks. How's everyone doing?
It's not a call-in show, folks. It's not a call-in show.
Stop the show!
Yeah.
Here's a low fixed income. That's something that was Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Maybe Howie Roseman's calling you. You're probably about to get drafted, man.
Hey, I'm already on the team with Quinion Mitchell. So
Yeah,
I'm
there
just
you go.
saying, I'm already
There you
there. I'm already there. But
Yeah, right.
yes, we still have a house phone. We're like probably the only ones who have house phones now.
That's
By the
one,
way, Mitch, you got talked about by a Cowboy today.
Oh yeah.
Really?
What about
Who is
that?
that? Who is that? Could be? I wonder who that could be.
CD Lamb?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want to bring
You're
that
right.
up? Let's talk about
Yeah.
that real quick, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there was a viral video going around now with CD Lamb and I believe why am I blanking on his name?
Oh, Michael Parsons.
Micah Parsons, yes. And CD Lamb came at Quinion Mitchell and said, Guantanamo Bay. He's like, they say that if you play against him, you're going to go to Guantanamo Bay. I'm not going to no Guantanamo Bay. He's like, nah, dude, like he's garbage. And so he is already throwing out the first salvo on this rivalry that's going to take place on September 4th. Listen, CD, you're a good receiver, but dude, you haven't won anything yet.
Nope.
Like you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, and like understand that you can have big talks on a golf course, standing next to your boy who also wears the star, but when the pads get put on and you lace them up, Guantanamo Bay is going to lock you down.
Yep.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Joe Scorza comes in and goes, CD and Micah need to start their own comedy show because they're hilarious. You know who else is hilarious? George Pickens. He is hilarious being overrated. And now he's on one of the most overrated franchises. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Well, you said a couple weeks ago about like if there's any Georgia Bulldogs that will be like an Evan Flow kind of feel. I mean that would be it. That would be one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, my dad actually brings up a very good point here too about this stat here, because this is actually really amazing, Joe. Since you brought up about CD Lamb being a locked, Quinion Mitchell being a locked corner. 2024 stats versus the Eagles last year: 6 catches for 21 yards, 0 touchdowns. Enough said.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and basically, here's the question I need to know is that. Since CD Lamb wants to become a wise ass and talk all he wants about Guantanamo Bay and Quinion Mitchell, he actually did his job last year. Quinion Mitchell, even though he was a rookie, he shut them down very, very precisely than anything else like that too, man.
He shut down a lot of receivers down pretty well last year. I mean, like that was the thing that overwhelmingly shocked me because like when we got him. I, like most, pointed at, oh, he's from Toledo. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is Sidney Jones all over again.
Yeah, right.
Like, it literally felt like this was a bad draft pick. And then people are like telling me, no, relax. He's good. He's good. And I'm thinking, all right, the jury's still out. But when I see him going against like these premier receivers and just like completely shutting them down, it's one of the reasons people wonder why the defense was so good last year. When you have a defender, a cornerback that can take half of the field away from the other opposing quarterback, it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the other thing too that was really surprising last year with Quinion Mitchell was that he was already a rookie, and he felt like he was a 5-year pro, and it was one of the things that kind of amazed me about him was like like even though he didn't look like he had like rookie slumps. I mean, you would have thought he would like get a little bit of critique in his game as a rookie, but no, he played fantastic last year. I thought for sure he was probably rookie of the year for sure. I thought he could have easily won that rookie of the year depending on that situation. But
So
yeah, he was really
I
good.
could have won Rookie of the Year on the Eagles and the Flyers. So that's what you're telling me.
You got ripped off on both occasions.
Yeah, I know,
Right?
right?
They just don't want to see me win. But speaking of winning, let's talk about
Winning.
Yes, sir. How do you guys feel about the Eagles schedule, man? How do you feel about it?
Man.
Joe, let's start off with you. How do you feel about it before
It's
we go
tough.
game by game?
It's tough, but like this is what we kind of already knew. We talked about it last week about it being the fourth hardest schedule in the NFL, and
Yeah.
part of it, it's the first time in NFL history where the reigning champions, the reigning and defending Super Bowl champions, don't have back-to-back home games. First
Mhm.
time in Super Bowl NFL history that
Yes.
has ever happened. And it's just astounding to me that the NFL's just being dumb. I really think like they don't realize that they're poking the bear. And how bad they're poking the bear. We talked about the tush push last week and how, okay, you're just going to piss them off. Like, why would you motivate a championship team that may rest on their laurels for this upcoming season? Now you're going to piss them off by giving them a schedule that looks like that and make history in another way where it seems a little bit, swayed. I mean, it's not the Dallas Mavericks buying the first overall pick, but still, it's pretty
That's
bad.
true.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, we got the third overall pick, and we might trade it. So there's that.
oh Jesus. Oh my God.
But anyways, James,
Yeah,
you and I
sure.
talked about this before we went live.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the schedule?
Dude, I love it, man. I really do. I think this is a very good schedule. You look at the opponents. I mean, you got Dallas opening night. That's a perfect like what do you call it? The perfect script to see Dallas on opening night, and then you got the Chiefs a week later. You know what the thing I really like about it too, man, is that you get the Chiefs right before they go. Like even though when you play the Chiefs, I mean, majority of the time you would have thought, okay, maybe the Chiefs would have been week 10 or maybe a week 11, and I say like. They're gonna catch them at the right time before they find their footing. I mean that's perfect right there, and the Rams. I mean for me yeah sure. I mean the Rams are gonna be good, but I mean I don't know how good they're gonna be. But I mean I see if I had to pick and choose, I see either the Eagles go 3-1 or maybe 2-2 in that process too. I mean if they go 2-2 in that process, man, I'm good with that, dude.
Yeah. And Joe Scorza comes in and goes, we know the opponents were going to be tough, but I like how the schedule shakes out. They get extra days before just in about every road game. True.
Yep.
True.
It's true.
And
It's true.
for me, honestly, what I don't like about the schedule first is that there's a lot of primetime games. We kind of knew that was going to happen in the first go around. We knew that, and we have a lot of them. But I'm just like, I'm a guy that doesn't like to stay up late, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, here's another one. I'm gonna have to fall asleep. Here's another one. Yeah, I'll fall asleep to that one. But
Yeah.
actually, you ready for this, Joe? On September 4th, that's my birthday. So we get to see the Eagles and Cowboys on my birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so rad, man.
That's
That is
very
so
cool.
rad, man.
You have to go to that game. You
Oh,
have
hell
to.
yeah.
We're trying.
I mean,
Yeah.
banner night, Cowboys come in, your birthday. I mean, dude, you can't write it better than that.
You can't. You can't. I'll be 31 on September
Wow.
4th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny, man? You
What?
know what's funny? Me and you are both cowboy killers. I mean, I'm the cowboy killer of 95. You're the cowboy killer of 94.
Yes, let's go. Woo! I'll take that. But
Wow.
yeah, how do you guys feel about the primetime games? James, let's start off with you. How do you feel about the primetime games?
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I mean, honestly, no offense. I mean, the primetime games are a little bit like if it's like afternoon. I mean, if there's like an afternoon game, and for example, if there's a primetime game like a Sunday night football game, if the Eagles are on it, it's like, oh god, I gotta probably have to watch the Commanders or maybe the Cowboys, or probably watch some Red Zone and all that too, because that's what I always do from 1 to 7 if the Eagles are not playing that day. But overall, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's not. It's not. I mean, yeah. I mean, I like the 1 o'clock games. I'm always used to 1 o'clock or 4:25. But I mean, the 8 o'clock games feel like they take forever to like sometimes, especially if there's like a Sunday night game. You have to wait until that Sunday night game to get started. I mean, sometimes like that day is kind of like a little bit of a bummer. Gonna admit.
Hmm. Joe, how do you feel about the primetime games?
As a guy who used to do the Eagles post game for our former network,
Yeah.
Yeah.
primetime games suck.
Yeah, dude. I know.
Because I would be up doing the post game until close to 1 in the morning,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then be back up at like 6 in the morning to get my daughter and my wife off to work and school. And it's
Mhm.
like, I was just like, okay, can we? Yes, I know. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Like, can we do the post game preemptive? Like,
Yeah.
we're
Ablib.
that like it's just it's terrible. Like,
Oh yeah, no.
but look, here's the thing. This is part of the interesting dynamic with the NFL because
Yeah.
they give the teams that they feel like are really going to sell the game
Mhm.
uh, on the primetime games. That's why they did it with Kansas City and Buffalo so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
But now with the Eagles, they're like, oh, yeah, we believe in you. You guys are the champs. We're going to do it. But we're going to screw you because we're going to take away your play and we're not going to give you consecutive home games. And we're going to just make you, peter through gauntlet after gauntlet after gauntlet. And when we go through the schedule, you'll see that there's like these little mini gauntlets, and we kind
Yeah.
of start out with one. So it's
Well,
interesting.
let me ask you about this too, guys. Since I brought this up yesterday too, about something else when I was looking through the schedule, and I say there isn't a big gauntlet with this. With I mean, if the only gauntlet that's like a semi one is probably that the Green Bay and Detroit games that are prime time on Monday Night Football and also on that Sunday night against the Lions. I mean, other than that, I mean, we don't have much of a gauntlet. I mean, unless you guys see something that I hadn't see. I mean, but yeah, I mean like that's the most important thing. I mean, I don't think we have a gauntlet this year, like for the first time in quite some time.
I think you're right. And I've been seeing on ESPN and stuff like that, like the first 4 games, right? I've been seeing the Eagles going like 1-3, 2-2, and stuff like that. It's
Right.
because you have the Chiefs, and then we have a hard time playing against the Buccaneers. The
Mm,
Rams are a good team also. So
right.
the first 4, I could see being like a mini gauntlet, but other than that, nothing really. I mean, we got the Giants, Vikings, and the Giants. No, sorry, no, that's not a gauntlet. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
maybe that Chargers game was like, I mean, like I said, like we got the Packers, the Lions, and then that Cowboys game before Thanksgiving. Before they take on KC, the Bears. I mean, that's a Black Friday game, and then the Chargers. I mean, maybe that will be a little bit of a semi gauntlet, but honestly, I mean, it's not like we're playing like we're not like going to Brazil and probably or like going up in the like Euro trip, like kind of like with the Vikings. I'll get into that a little bit later because I actually feel sorry for them. I actually had to deal with that horrible schedule that they got, like so many back-to-back games in a matter of, and even like a Euro trip too. So I mean,
yeah,
but overall though, I think the most important thing about that too is that I mean maybe that stretch between the Packers, the Lions, and the Cowboys will be that gauntlet. But then again, the Cowboys could be done by that point too.
that is true.
I think that Buffalo, Washington is a bit of a mini gauntlet towards the end of the year. So I feel like I'm not really counting the Cowboys because I think we'll
Yeah,
put the ass beating on them from that perspective.
Sure.
There'll be so much pumped up juice in that building.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be palpable.
Yeah.
Then Kansas City and Tampa Bay and LA. I think that's a mini gauntlet. And I think we end with a mini gauntlet with Washington going to Buffalo.
Hmm.
So we go to Washington, then we go to Buffalo, then we're at home against Washington. So
Hmm.
Washington's going to get significant tape on us for that and it's always a beatdown with the NFC East. It's always a beatdown.
You're right.
So, and then in between those beatdowns, we got this thing sandwiched where we have to go to Buffalo late in the year where it's going to be snowing. And it's going to be snowing. And you're going to have Josh Allen probably hitting his stride at that point. And I think that's going to be look, my hope is that the Commanders are nowhere near playoff by the time we get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I hope, because I feel like Jaden Daniels could be hurt by then. I don't think he's he's a good quarterback. I just don't know if he's as good if I put him on the same pedestal as others would do.
I mean, that's a good point. I'm sorry for interrupting, Mitch.
No, you're good. You're good. Go.
I think it's a good point too. I mean, the other thing too is that you probably think about that Washington and Buffalo and then Washington game again too. Maybe that will be the game. Probably either that, like 20th, the first Washington game will be seeing what they have with that number 1 seed and also with the NFC East. I mean, by that point, maybe Buffalo will be just resting their starters at that point too. I mean, it is interesting because Buffalo, like that late in the season, I mean, it's literally that 17th game of that season. But most importantly, anything like that is that I could see like a little bit of a gauntlet like that too. But like overall, I mean, it's like probably towards the end of the season, and by that point, they probably either have the division wrapped up or maybe they have the number 1 seed wrapped up, and probably don't have to play their stars in majority of those games too.
Well, you could be right with Buffalo, because you got to think the only competition in their division this season is the Dolphins. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Joe Scorza comes in and goes, remember, supposedly had a gauntlet in the middle of last season, and the Birds ran off at 10 straight wins. That is true.
That is
true. What is good? What is good, Nick? Joe Marks is right here, bro. Joe Marks is right there.
Right there, brother.
All good, Nick. All good. But quick question. I like the fact that we have a bye week in week 9. I personally like that instead of getting like week 3, week 4. Like it's in the middle of this season. We're getting off of beating the Giants. We take a week off, then we go to Green Bay. So for me,
that's great.
I like it. Let's start off with Joe. How you doing? How do you like the bye week in week 9?
I like it only because it's kind of like you can snap the whole season in literal half. Like you got the first half with the first 8 games, and then you got the second half with like the next 9 games, like or next 8 games or whatever it is. Like 9 games. I can't do math. So
you and me both, dude. You and me both.
You gotta keep something in mind with that. It's like keep cutting the season in half, which means if you're Nick Sirianni, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you don't worry about whatever's going to happen at the second half of the season. You worry about coming out on the first half of the season with a winning record. You worry about like trying to tackle that and going like 6-2, and being able to go into the second half with momentum. And I think that makes a huge difference, especially if you're coming off that bye and you need to regain momentum going into the playoffs.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
James, how about you? How do you like the bye week?
I think it comes at the right time, honestly, Mitch. I think that's the most important thing, because you think about the times like you even alluded to when you said earlier about like, you would have last year we had the bye week right around October, like around week 5, and I'm thinking like that came at the right time for the Eagles. Like even my dad, Joe Scorza, brought up, said that they won 10 straight games after that bye week, so it could go in the favor. And the one thing I like about it too, more than anything, is that week 9 bye week comes at a good time too, because they got the Packers, they got the Lions, and then they got the Cowboys, and then they got a Black Friday game with the Bears and all that too. So more importantly than anything like that, this Eagles team could easily. I'm not saying it's an easy schedule, because obviously every year you never know due to injuries and also the tough schedule too, but honestly, this schedule is probably one of the best I ever seen from the Eagles. I mean, and I've been around a long time, and I'm a schedule guru, but this schedule was really laid out perfectly for the Birds.
Yeah, yeah. And here's another thing too. You got to keep an eye out on the Bears because I feel like the Bears had a very sneaky off season. Like not, they had a good draft, they had a good pickups where they mattered the most. So,
Mm-hmm.
really,
It's not a
Seahawks-
call-in show, folks. I know you might have
Are
some
we having a
contested.
telethon? I think we're having a telethon with the schedule.
I
Hey,
think
we'll
it's,
take donations. That's fine.
1-800 go Birds.
Yeah.
Call it today.
yeah. Thank God that phone was picked up. But yeah, that's like a team that I'm like. What is the word I'm looking for?
Oh shit.
On a dark horse. There we
Dark
go.
horse. There you go.
Dark horse. Yeah, I think they could be very much of a dark horse. Is there another team that could be on the same level with Chicago? It's like they're kind of will be sneaky good. You guys think? Whoever wants to take it over.
I'll let you
yeah.
answer that, Joe.
I think Atlanta is going to be a dark horse. I think Atlanta's going to surprise a lot of people because they have some offensive weapons. They have some defensive weapons. I think they're going to surprise people. And in that NFC South, you got to think New Orleans, they're going to be rebuilding. Okay.
Yes.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to be a contender, but that's going to be the battle. That's going to be the battle lines between the Buccaneers and the Falcons for that division. Right. The Saints and the Panthers are still, they're not there yet. Neither team are there yet. So I feel like your dark horse is really going to be Atlanta coming out of the NFC. I that's one of the reasons why I am confident that the Dallas Cowboys will not make the playoffs this year. Because I just feel like for the NFC East, the two contending teams will be the Eagles and the Commanders, which is fine. You got the NFC South, where it's going to be the Buccaneers and the Falcons. And then the NFC North, I feel like it's going to be the Packers and the Lions. I think the Vikings take a step back because I think J.J. McCarthy is going to have some growing pains. And, with the NFC West, the NFC West, I honestly think that is the biggest crapshoot of all the divisions in the NFL. It's you never know what's coming out. I get that people will say, "Oh, the Rams, of course," or the Niners, of course, and it's like it's a crapshoot. Birdie might not have a good season. Stafford's really old. Then you have Murray in Arizona, and Arizona had a decent draft, but no one's running home for that. Right. And Seattle is always in or around that perspective. Yeah. They have Sam Darnold, and he's the NFL darling. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's Atlanta.
James, what about you?
I mean, it's a very good point that Joey brings up here about Atlanta, because even my dad alluded to about this too, that the NFL agrees that because apparently the NFL agrees because Atlanta has a ton of primetime games this year too. That's the most important thing, because that's a lot of primetime games. I looked at it yesterday. I think they have 5 or 6. I don't even know. Maybe because they like Kirk Cousins, and I think Kirk Cousins is like a showman himself, I guess, or a front man, like we like to allude to bands and stuff. But maybe the one dark horse to me is let me think here for a sec. Let's see. Seattle might be, but Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, depending on the situation, what side of the fence you're on. No, the Saints. They just lost Derek Carr, so Derek Carr is retired, so that's going to be. They're going to find out what they're going to either have with Spencer Rattler or their other quarterback they got from Louisville.
Tyler Shaw, I think his name is Shaw, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. If I gotta go with one dark horse, I gotta go with. Maybe I'll go with the Falcons too, because the Falcons are they have a team they have Michael Penix. They got a lot of good players on that team, like Bijan, and they got a good Drake
It,
London's a good player too.
Kyle
Yeah,
Jake
Pitts.
Lund,
Kyle
yeah.
Pitts.
Kyle
Yep.
Pitts. That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kyle Pitts. That's right. Totally forgot all about that. Yeah, I got to go with the Falcons too. I mean, if there was like one dark horse that had to look at, say, this could be a big X factor, might be Minnesota. But Minnesota got really screwed with that schedule they got. I mean,
Yeah.
that schedule is brutal. I mean, that schedule is really, really abysmal. So yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a dark horse, I'm gonna go with the Falcons too. I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, I like what Penix did last year, and maybe he'll make one step. He'll make another step in a positive direction for the Falcons this year too.
Yep. And my guy David had checked in. What is up, David? Thank you for stopping by. But for me, I just have one question about the Falcons. Isn't not Kyle, Kirk Cousins still there?
I think so. I think he
So
is.
they have a quarterback controversy, I feel like.
Yeah, and
I feel like.
Well,
Well,
when you have Kirk Cousins and technically yes and no, because think about it this way: James just mentioned that they have a lot of primetime games, and we
Right.
know Kirk Cousins' record in primetime. When the sun goes down, so does Kirk Cousins. So having Michael Penix,
Mhm.
not a bad starter if you have to start him for those 5 primetime games just to keep the Cousins jinx out of that picture.
sure.
Look, Penix is going to get his due. Like that is bound to happen. Kirk Cousins, he's a good quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback. I wouldn't sit there. I wouldn't have paid him what they paid him,
Mhm.
but I'm not the owner. But this is the same ownership that signed Matt Ryan for a big contract towards the twilight of his career. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to sit here and say that Michael Penix is going to get his due this season. It's not really a controversy because a controversy would mean that 2 quarterbacks have equally enough talent, and I think Penix has got more talent than Cousins currently.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, Nick. Mitchell is my real name. Yes. Like, I don't understand. People think that's like them trolling me, but it's not. That's my name. It's like, dang. Joe Scorzer comes in. I think the Falcons are hoping Penix wins the job as the starter. Then what do you do with Kirk? Because that contract is so bad to trade.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it's a Paul George contract.
Well,
Like,
In a way, yeah. Joel Embiid. Well, yeah. Paul George is that's a good comparison.
it's a Carson Wentz contract.
Bingo.
That's
Bingo.
what the comparable is,
Bingo.
and that's the difference. And so, but which would you rather have? Would you rather Kirk Cousins be an Aaron Rodgers who wants all this money, can't play worth a damn, or would you rather have a Kirk Cousins that's a serviceable backup? Yes, you're paying him a lot of money, but if your starter is your young gun and he's slinging it around, and if he gets a little bit,
Disappoint.
if he gets
Complacent.
hurt, if he
Yeah.
gets hurt or complacent or frustrated or whatnot, you have a guy like Cousins who you could just plug and play right into that quarterback role. So again, I kind of go back to, Penix is going to get his due, and Cousins, he's just going to get his paycheck. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I'll go back to another comparable comp for Kirk Cousins, and that's Jay Cutler towards the end of his career. Jay Cutler got benched towards the end of his career, and he was making a lot of money. And that's the difference. Like, I believe Rex Grossman was the guy that took over for Jay
That's
Cutler
true.
at one
That's
point.
true. That's true.
So, and Rex Grossman was a young quarterback too. So it's not unfounded that a young quarterback outduels a veteran quarterback that's making a ton of money.
Well, we forget too. That's what happened with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz.
Exactly.
That happened in 2020. I mean, Jalen Hurts was getting groomed to be the starter, and Carson Wentz started to deplete, and then Jalen Hurts started to become the starter, and we haven't looked back ever since.
Yep.
Since then, let's take a look back at that draft, right? like
Sure.
we drafted Jalen Hurts, right? Did you guys
Mhm.
honestly believe he was going to be what he is today back then? Because
I
I did not.
I
I did
did.
not either.
I
Joe
did.
did?
I
Yeah,
Okay.
did.
Joe.
I said it on the draft show with Fred Burns and
Hmm.
Al Thompson and Big
Yeah.
Al Severi.
Yeah.
I was on a draft show with them the day, I believe it was the day after. So it was day two. And man, I mean, I went on there and me and Fred kind of disagreed because Fred was a big Carson Wentz fan, and that's fine. I understand why he liked it, but I looked at the stats, I looked at the film, I saw what I saw. This is a guy coming out of two premier programs like Alabama and Oklahoma, and had 100 total touchdowns.
Wow.
That 100. And we're not talking about like the Bo Nix where he spends 8 years in college accumulating that. This is
Yeah, I
four
bet.
years. Okay. Like this is a guy that came and played at a high level. And I get it. It's the collegiate perspective. But
Hmm.
what has everybody always said? When you play at these big programs, you're basically playing in the pros.
Right.
You are because you're playing against guys you're gonna play against in the pros. So yeah, okay, the speed changes a bit. Yes, that's sure. That could explain why he had such growing pains in his first year and a half as a pro in with the Eagles. And what was the criticism? Oh, he can't throw people open. Oh, he can't throw deep, or he's not a franchise quarterback. This is the same guy now looking back and having heard that criticism. This is the same guy now that brought you your second Super Bowl and was the Super Bowl MVP. I don't want to hear the nonsense that I've heard from sports talk radio about the idea, well, he hasn't been an elite quarterback all season. The guy touches the ball every freaking down. It doesn't matter if he hands the ball off or passes it. The guy's in control. He's the general. He's the leader of that offense. That offense goes as Jalen Hurts goes. I don't care if he doesn't throw for 300 yards. I care if he wins. That's the only thing that
It
matters.
it all should matter. That's the most important thing, Joe. And I gotta say right now, I've known Joey for a long time now. Gonna admit. And when he was right about Jalen Hurts, man, him and Frank Finnegan, going back to EOP, had a little bit of a debate
Yeah.
about like Jalen Hurts' accuracy, and when you know it, like the one thing I was a little bit skeptical. I was a little bit skeptical about is about how he can throw that football, and it only took me to the second week of the season of 2022 to say I'm a believer now. So that's the most important thing. I mean, and the one thing I love about Jalen Hurts' play is that the one thing was missing with this football team, even though when we had the Carson Wentz's and stuff, is that yeah, sure. I mean, he kind of hangs onto the ball a little bit too much, though, but he's not overly exaggerated by losing that. By again, with those sacks that cause for concern. I mean, the one thing I love about Hurts is football. Like when he throws a football deep, I mean, it's a perfect spiral. Like it's kind of like something out of a movie. It's kind of like it's like something that I never thought I would say about Jalen Hurts' accuracy. I mean, once he was starting to like really work on his game and also become that philosophy of trying to get better at the time. I mean, look, I mean, at the time I was a little bit skeptical. Like me and my dad were a little bit skeptical about him too. But when he starts throwing that football and also became more of a leader, hey, look, he got us to a Super Bowl the first time back 3 years ago, and now 2 years later, getting us to another one and actually winning it. You're goddamn right. I'm a damn believer now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell
So
you this, and this is another thing, Mitch, and I'll let you talk. So he's one of four quarterbacks in the last 25 years that's gone to multiple Super Bowls. He's one of four. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Eli Manning. He's
There you
one
go.
of four.
There you go. Not
wow.
even paid Manning. Wow, that's the most. That's the most. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I mean, you think about it. I mean, that's a very good list. I mean, Tom Brady, Mahomes, Eli Manning, and even Jalen Hurts in that same category. I mean, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. And then Joe Scorza comes into the chat. He goes, I'm with Marks and his take on Hurts. He does what it takes to win, period. Exactly. And for me, I was like you, James, in the beginning. I was so skeptical.
Yep.
I did not
Yep.
like his mechanics or whatever. But that was just me nitpicking too much, right?
Yep.
When we
Exactly.
were all talking about football, basketball, I see it more with basketball now more than anything.
Oh yeah.
But they try to feel like they're the smartest guy in the room and
Yep.
try to nitpick each thing, and they want like a better quarterback, like a Russell Wilson and stuff like that. And that was me for a little bit.
Hmm.
And then once I saw Jalen Hurts play and get us to that first Super Bowl, the first one, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm
Well, I
sold.
mean, here's the other thing, and Al Safiri kind of brought this up in the debates that we had about Jalen, and that was that he wanted to, at one point, Jalen Hurts was quote unquote on the trade block for Russell Wilson.
Right.
Now look at where Russell Wilson's at. That
Right.
and then he was on the trade block for Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Look where Deshaun Watson's at. So we
That's
pick
true.
a choice and we stick with it. And when we stuck with it, this guy that gets highly criticized, highly scrutinized, he doesn't let it bother him. He lets it fuel him.
Yeah,
And I like that part of it.
I do too.
I do as well. And Joe Scorcher says Hurts did have to work on his skills coming out,
Yes.
and he did. Got
Yes.
better
Got better.
every year. That's
Every
that work
single year.
ethic. That's the mindset.
Mhm.
That is the mindset of this guy. Like, not a lot of quarterbacks have the same mindset. We've had one in Carson Wentz, not the same mindset at all. We've seen quarterbacks deplete, give up, and not have the mindset.
You know,
In
it's
that
That's not Jalen.
2021 season,
mhm.
the criticism back then was that he can't throw deep enough or he can't throw receivers open. That
Right.
was a
Yeah.
big contention between me and Frank Finnegan.
Mhm.
And I had heard reports because the prior year in 2021, Justin Herbert went through a rigorous all-season regimen with a quarterback guru that worked on his accuracy and his strength, power within throwing the ball deep. Jalen Hurts, after that 2021 season, went to that same guru. And he basically said, okay, I need to fix this. That's your job. Fix me to be able to throw deep. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
after the Super Bowl win, he was talking to all these legends like Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, just like how he can win more, what else does he have to do to win another one, and so on and so forth. Always
Definitely.
looking for that advice, always looking to help improve, not just him, his teammates or whatever, his brothers, his family, all that stuff. So,
I'm
Well, there's
sorry to
a
beat Jalen Hurts to be able to call Michael Jordan or Derek Jeter. I mean, to beat Jalen Hurts and be like, hey, can I get Michael Jordan's phone number? Can I get Derek Jeter's phone number? Like, what?
oh, they were actually at an event. I forget what
Oh,
event it was for Michael Jordan, but he was actually talking to Michael Jordan face to face. And then with Derek Jeter, I forget what it was, but yeah, he was talking to Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter was just mind blown by the questions that Jalen Hurts was asking him.
yeah.
And
wow.
just like when you have the captain, Derek Jeter, and the GOAT of basketball, Michael Jordan, not LeBron, Michael Jordan. I just want to clear that out there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
when you look getting advice from those guys, sky's the limit. Oh, and Tom
Yeah.
Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Oh,
A
yeah.
Michigan guy. There we go. See? I got one.
And he went to Michigan too. But no,
Yeah.
all joking aside too. Yeah, I mean, you know what's crazy too about what Jalen Hurts has done the last handful of months too, is that
What?
you would have thought when he won that Super Bowl, he'll be going on like book tours and all this and all that too. Not even like 5 or 6 days later after the Super Bowl, he's already back in the gym and once more. You know what that reminds me of? Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was exactly like that. That Mamba mentality that wants to work every single day to be the best he can be and also to be the capability of what he can try to be. The most important thing too is that I love that about that guy. It's that, yeah, job's not done. I got one, but I want more now. Like the Michael Jordans, the Derek Jeters, like you even mentioned Tom Brady, and maybe like a Joe Montana. You can ask Joe Montana too how he won a few Super Bowls too. But overall, man, it's just it's one of those things that it makes me feel like that this team is going to be special again, and I'm looking forward to every minute of it.
So there was a podcast that Howie was on not that long, like a little bit before free agency started, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
He said that he went in the interview, he said he went into the NovaCare complex and he has to go to get to his office, he has to go past the one of the video rooms.
Right.
And they usually close the door to when the room is in use.
Hmm.
So Howie comes in, it's been like 5 or 6 days from the parade. He still has a bruise over his forehead. Like
Yeah.
he's coming in and he sees one of the film room doors closed and he thinks it's the coach, like
Hmm.
because coach had to be in anyhow to kind of work with free agency with Howie. So he was like, okay, what walks in, it's Jalen Hurts
Wow. Oh my
sitting
God.
there and breaking down the Super Bowl footage. So like
Wow.
now I had said this before when he lost to Kansas City the first time.
Hmm.
He was back in the NovaCare doing the same thing then.
Hmm.
So it didn't matter if he won or lost. He still wants to improve.
Yeah.
This is a guy that says, great, I won. I have a championship. I'm a champion. Cool. How can I do it again?
Yep.
It's time to reset. It's time to wipe the slate clean. Even Jordan Mailata said it best. He said, we can't wait to get past the banner day because we want to just say, let's forget about the championship because that'll
There's
make us
more.
that'll make us hungrier for the championship again.
Exactly. Exactly
All
right.
right. So to go back to the schedule real quick here, let's talk about another player on the running on the. All right, I just gave it up. Screw the intro. Saquon Barkley. Let's talk
Right.
about Saquon Barkley because he rushed for over 2,000 yards this past season, right? Do
Mhm.
you guys believe he can do it again? Do you guys
Hmm.
honestly think that Saquon Barkley could run 2,000 yards again? Because my guy, AK Eagles, the founder of Hardcore Sports, he believes so. And a couple of my friends believe the same thing. But for me, it comes up to the offensive line. Like, we
Right.
lost a couple of people. I'm not nervous because we got Jeff Stoutland. We got all these guys, which are the best offensive line in the game. But I don't get that vibe. I still believe that he can do it. So,
Yeah.
James, I'm going to start with you. Do you think he can hit 2,000 rushing yards this year?
Yeah, Mitch, it's a very good question because I thought about this wholeheartedly too, especially after the offensive line we lost, especially Mekhi Becton, and the list goes on and on about that too.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this right now: whatever Stetlin's doing with the offensive line, man, and also try to make Barkley into the capable. I mean, for me, I don't think it will be. I think he will get to that. I think he will. But I think it'll be more of a. It's going to be more of a pass balance offense. It's going to be a pass. I mean, I don't think Saquon has to be the guy to run for that type of yards. But I mean, with Saquon, you never know. I mean, that's the most important thing because that's the curious. That's the one thing I'm curious about too is just to see, like, if he can start to do this again. But then again, we never thought Mekhi Becton was going to be something like that too. But most importantly too, it's a very good question to have, especially like that will be a good thing to look forward to what they have in store come that first game of the season against Dallas, and also what they'll look like too. So, yeah, I mean, it's an option. I mean, it'll be optional to see what they'll look like, but I mean, if he runs for more than yards this year too, I mean, like I said, I trust Stalin, I trust Sirianni, I trust Kevin Patullo. I guess I trust everybody on that team. I mean, whatever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like we always used to say about things. But with Saquon too, I mean, that's gonna be the most important thing is that if he can run for that much yards again, I mean, that'll be great. I mean, I could actually see it a little bit, but then again, depends on what the kind of type of offense Patullo has in store too.
Mhm. Joe Marks, how about you?
I don't. But I don't want people to think that the reason that I don't in the sense that he's going to get like 1,000 yards.
Right.
Hmm.
I think what. All right, so let me start here. So
Sure.
like one of the reasons why I think he got as many yards as he did was because there was more games in the season
Right.
Mhm.
and he was healthy. I mean,
Mhm.
for the most part. So you know, I'm not saying that he didn't have some like stellar games. He absolutely did, but my feeling is this season you're going to still see him run. I still feel like he's going to be over the 1600 mark. I also think he's going to have a lot of touchdowns.
Mhm.
I think that you're going to see a lot of packages where they're going to implement the fullback
Mhm.
because the Eagles, like I said before, they're preparing for the tush push to be banned.
Right.
They
Yeah.
are. So they are already calculating how and what way they can get Saquon into the end zone.
Right.
Now, when they take a step back with Saquon statistically, who picks up the slack? I think AJ Dillon definitely picks up the slack. I also think that Jalen Hurts picks up the slack.
Mhm.
I think you could do the Adrian Thomas, Dorian Thomas, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I think
Um,
it's Ben Van Simmer. It's gonna be the full time fullback, but
Full time fullback, yeah. But I
yeah.
feel like with that, other quarterback that's mobile, it may be a package, similar to the way that New Orleans Saints used to run a
Right.
mobile quarterback out there. I mean, look, there is so much versatility that this offense can have. And I think Saquon Barkley is still going to be a very effective and successful running back in this on this team. And I can tell you this right now: the guy, he knows he's spoiled, and
Right.
as long as he has that offensive line and that offensive line is killing defensive linemen for him, Saquon's going to treat those guys real nice.
Yeah. For sure. For sure, man.
And then Joe Scorzer brings up a good point in AJ Dillon. I
Yeah.
mean, I love that pickup. I think that's
Yeah.
very good. He is coming off of a season-ending injury this past year with his I forget what it was exactly, but he's still a dominant running back. He's still a threat in the red zone. And yeah, you brought up a good point. Marks, you brought up a good point about the tush push, getting prepared for it. Like
Sure.
I haven't even thought about yet because we don't really need the tush push. We don't really need it to be successful, and
Right.
we got weapons everywhere. Jalen Hurts can do a quarterback sneak. Saquon Barkley. You still got Shipley. You still got Dylan who can run the ball in. So we don't really need the tush push, but I'm glad that they're preparing for it. I
Mhm.
am.
That's
So
true. That's totally true. That's absolutely true.
yeah, yeah. So way too early record predictions. Way too early, and then we're gonna come back as soon as the season comes to in play. So for me, I'm gonna bring up the schedule again, one
Hmm.
last time. And Joe, we're gonna start off with you, man. Around how many wins do you see the Eagles this season? Around how many?
I see 12. I see
Hmm.
12 confidently. I think that they have every ability to beat some of those teams, key teams like Kansas City and Washington. I think they'll split with Washington. I think they'll split with the Cowboys. But
Not on my birthday, right? They'll win on my
no, no, no,
birthday.
no. We struggle when we go to Big D because the referees are in Jerry's pocket. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but the Giants will sweep. I think Kansas City, the Chargers, the Rams. I think those are all good, significant wins. I think Buffalo is a coin toss. I think the Raiders are a win. I think the Broncos are a win. I think Minnesota's a win.
Yes.
Um, it's like I said earlier, I think JJ McCarthy is going to be a bright young star in the game. I just don't think he's going to come out like the world beater like people think he is. So I'm a firm believer that they are, just in the process of this bit of a rebuild. And look, Justin Jefferson already got paid, so he doesn't need to worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 12 wins is confident.
Yeah.
James, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I got 13 or 14 wins in that season. I think I mean you look at it now. Even Joey alluded to too. But I'll tell you a long story short. Back when we were
Oh, here
on
we go.
with
I know
Edge
where
of
this is going.
yeah, no, you know exactly where I'm going at. You know where I'm going at. I actually predicted back in 2022 that the Eagles would go 15-2. So
No way.
I
Oh
was actually
wow.
I was actually close. I was actually close by one game. I was close
You
by
said
one.
See,
14?
I said 15-2. I thought the team was going to
they
go
they
15.
got they
Oh,
got
okay.
14 wins,
They
but
got 14
it,
wins. Yeah, that's right. They had
yeah,
14 wins. That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
So like, but that's why he said he was off by one game, but he was very close. He was the
Yeah. Well,
closest one of all of us, and we mocked him for about 20 minutes, saying 15-2. Yo, take your green glasses off, dude. Like, what is
well,
going on? Like, we
I
mocked
saw what the
him.
team I saw what the team had in store too. I saw what the team looked like, and I said they're hitting on all cylinders. They did good in the draft. They got AJ Brown. They finally gave Jalen someone to throw a ball to. I mean, now it's like okay. Now you look at it now. I mean, I could see 13 or 14 wins with this club. I mean, the only little thing I would say too is that at the end of this season, I was, like those games from 15, 16, and from I'm sorry, not 15, 16, 16, 17, and 18 when they take on Washington twice and Buffalo that one time. That will be one thing is if the Eagles capture the division early, like so early that they can't even. Sometimes they want to like rest their starters for the rest of the way. That's going to be the most important thing. So that's going to be. I mean, I'm saying I'm not going to say the Eagles are going to go undefeated until, but you never know, man. I don't see a lot of losses on this schedule, man. I don't see a lot of losses. I mean, maybe I'll see maybe 3 losses, maybe 4. But the fourth one, that's going to be the interesting thing. It's going to be who's going to be that fourth team that they lose to. But maybe it'll be like a Tampa Bay, maybe one of those Washington games, maybe that Buffalo game that don't mean anything. But right now, I'm as a homer I am, but I don't care how much of a homer I am. I see this team actually winning 13 or 14 wins. So I mean,
Okay.
that's going to be the most important thing.
So I'm going to address Darlene's comment real quick, and then we're going to go into my prediction.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you guys are putting too much in the stock at the last year. You didn't do anything in free agency. She put
Really?
who's she? She
Yeah, I was
put too
was he
much
trolling us?
stock what you did last year.
Okay.
Alrighty then. Hey
Uh,
Wesley.
Eddie, yeah. How's it going, Wes? How you doing, buddy?
That's my guy, man. A great supporter of everything I do. Really
It's,
appreciate
it,
it.
it, it sound like a troll, man. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate you. But
Yeah.
for me,
Thanks for the
I'm gonna
compliment.
go 11 or 12. I'm gonna go 11 or 12 right now because
Okay.
I am kind of nervous with the Chiefs, the Rams, and that little of what was that gauntlet, that mini gauntlet. I'm a little nervous about right there.
Yeah,
The
that's fair.
beginning. Once we get to the bye week, then it becomes harder. I agree with you, James, with the Packers, Lions, and
Sure.
that stint. So it's definitely tough right now compared to last year. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to go 11 or 12.
you got to think, Mitch, with as you're kind of saying that, like when you get to the bye, if you're 6-2, right? If you're 6-2 or you're 5-3, all right, then you got to think about this. That second half, I'm not saying that second half is a cakewalk, but if you're 6-2 and you go, if we only get 5 more wins out of the next 9 games,
Yeah.
they only have to go 5-4 out of
Right.
the second half. That's not unreachable. And like that's a huge difference to get to 11 wins in that regard. That's very minimal. And I'm not dismissing the prediction. I'm just saying that's more attainable. That's
Yeah.
why I said 12 wins because I agree with you. Like you break the season in half and you say, okay, what do they have to do in the first half? What do they have to do in the second half?
Mhm.
So
And we actually got a new person in here named Humble Servant. So appreciate you stopping by, Humble Servant. Have confidence, gentlemen. The Eagles have been battle hardened. That is true. That is honestly true. But then
That's
we
a
are
fact.
humbled by your opinion.
That is true.
We appreciate your humble opinion, my friend.
But that is true. That is true. So
It is
I'm
true.
I'm gonna go with Joe here. I'm gonna go to 12. I'm gonna go to 12 right now. I think that was a good
Wow.
last
Okay,
year.
I swayed you. All right, I like that.
Yeah, because I was slaying between 11 and 12. So I'm like, give me the extra win.
Well, I got to tell you, when you threw it to James, James, the first thing I thought of, I'm like, this dude, he's gonna go for the ring. He's gonna go for the ring, and I'm like, and then I hear 13 or 14. I'm like, okay.
I could say 15-2,
No,
man, but I
know
held
you
back.
could. I know you could. And you know what? This time I won't criticize because I'm not going to be the guy that eats crow later if that actually happens. Not again. Fool me once.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
And
Yeah,
then
right.
Joe Scorza comes in and goes, they also seem to have learned from the last time they won in 2017.
Yeah.
That is true.
right.
History repeats itself. That's a famous saying, right? History repeats itself.
Yep.
So I would like to say thank you to everybody who tuned in to Fly Like an Eagle podcast, but we still got one more segment, and that is 3 words or less. Let's talk about the schedule. 3 words or less, guys. 3 words or less. Eagles are ready. Boom. That's 3 for me. If you
Bring
guys
on
have,
Dallas.
bring on my birthday.
There you go.
So that's my 3 words. On my birthday. There we go. All right.
Championship caliber team.
Oh, I like
that. I like that, dude.
I like that.
I like
All
it.
right.
I dig.
All right. Winning schedule. 3 words or less. That's 2 words. That works. That works. All right, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. But really quick, James, what do you guys got going on tomorrow morning for your show?
Well, we got a jam-packed show tomorrow. Obviously, we got a lot going on in the Philly sports scene right now. Real quickly though, before we go, we want to say that tune in tomorrow. That we got a special interview with a good friend of ours that Joey got involved in with the One Court Sports League. That is something about visually impaired stuff that is helping the Philly sports scene and helping their confidence like that. So that is an interview tomorrow that will be I think the interview will be close to the end of the show, so that'll be at the ending portion of our show. But we got a jam-packed show. We got the Eagles, like we mentioned, with the schedule release. Flyers got a new head coach with Rick Tocchet. We'll talk about that, especially the Sixers getting screwed over in the NBA draft like the Flyers did. And the Phillies, there's a lot of jam-packed show tomorrow, so please tune in at 9 a.m. tomorrow for the Paz and F Sports Show on Hardcore Sports Network. We got a jam-packed show tomorrow, and we're looking forward to every single minute of it. So please tune in. It'll be a fire show once again.
9 a.m., guys, 9 a.m. The link is right there in the chat. Make sure you guys go over there. Show some support tomorrow morning at 9. I'll be in the chat. I don't have anything to do tomorrow at 9, so I'm perfect. I'll be in the chat. No.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, Jesus.
No
Noah's
one
on the injured list already?
Injured list now?
Oh,
Yeah,
my
well.
God. Oh, God.
No.
Well, maybe he's hurt, and they'll probably DFA him down to the minors.
No, I saw this coming.
I saw it coming too, gonna admit, dude.
This is a phantom IL stint. They are putting him on so that way they skip a start. So he will miss his next start or two, and that's fine. So he can work on his mechanics. That's fine. Let him get right. It's a long season.
I'm game. I'm game for that.
All right. Again, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We will see you. Hold on.
Phantom ankle and Mick Abel's up. Mick Abel's up. Oh wow.
Abel's starting on Sunday. Okay.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All right. Against the Pirates, right?
I think so. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, right. That's
right. Is Paul Skeens pitching?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. Honestly,
I don't know if he's in the. I think he might be either game 2. I'm not entirely sure.
And we got a Cowboys guy in the chat here. Seagulls suck. Hey, appreciate the vote of confidence, and we'll see you on my birthday, September 4th, and you get to see us raise the banner.
Hey, CD. Hi.
Got you, try. And nice, nice clown profile picture. But anyway,
Well, that's
Steve,
Well, he is a
appropriate for a
Joker.
That is appropriate for a Cowboys fan.
Well, he is the Joker
Well, no, they've been the joke of the NFL for a while now.
for a long
Yeah.
while.
All right, guys. We'll catch you all next time. Peace, guys. Have a good one.
Later.
Go Birds. Let's
Go Birds. See ya.